Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into these predictions, Thomas. All right, so this is the total records are starting to get a little ridiculous to actually look at because we're taking all of the games into account. And don't forget, we missed predictions last week, so I counted that one as a tie. So right now, you're still kicking my ass on the season. I'm actually kind of looking forward to next season at this point because I don't think. Well, hold on, actually, 70. Your total record right now is 76-30-1. My total record is 63-43-1. So I am currently 13 games behind you. So unless you get like basically every game wrong, maybe not every game wrong, but like I can't. If it comes down to week 17, you'll basically have to get every single one wrong, and I have to get every single one right. So that's probably not going to happen because we're both reasonable.
That's hard to even try to do.
Yeah, that would be impressive because, considering that we get picks wrong sometimes, you might pick. Like, even if you were intentionally trying to make it interesting and make it easy for me, you might accidentally pick a game right because we thought the wrong way about it.
It's like it's like doing a true false. It's like doing a true false test and getting every single answer wrong. Really, you got every single answer right, unless you're just that stupid.
So, for the first time in doing these predictions, I finally didn't lose to Thomas on a week. Me and him actually tied at 11-5 this week. Actually, before we started recording, I was under the impression that Thomas beat me, but then he reminded me that he picked the Saints to beat the Chiefs. So I updated the standings, and we're both at 11-5 this week. So not a whole lot to talk about because we mostly got him right this week, but there are about 5 games that we need to talk about as far as which ones we got wrong here. So let's go ahead and start with the Thursday night game. That actually we kind of already talked about because it happened, I think, it was happening while we were recording the last episode. But we sent our predictions to each other over text before the game started. And we both picked the Las Vegas Raiders to beat the Los Angeles Chargers. And it did not go too well for the Raiders, partly because Derek Carr Have you actually heard what he did?
Was it his groin? I think it was.
I'm pretty sure it was his groin. I just don't know what the actual diagnosis is.
I'm pretty sure it was his groin.
Well, yeah, it was his groin, but I don't know. Did he tear a muscle? Did he sprain a muscle, or what's going on?
I'm look it up for you right now. Derek Carr.
I'm kind of pissed because, I lost my fantasy playoffs matchup.
What's funny is you said you're pissed, and the first article that showed up when I googled Derek Carr is pissed. The article they're heavy. I'm about to screenshot the article.
Motherfucker might have cost me $100. Although actually, I put a really bad lineup too this week.
He's out up to 2 weeks with significant groin injury.
Oh boy, that's not good for the Raiders.
Well, I mean, they got Marcus Mariota, but
Mariota did okay, but I think
he didn't terrible. He looked serviceable.
No, but Derek Carr's been really good at times this year. I think.
He has been actually. Yeah, Derek Carr's not a bad quarterback though. He's not.
Well, the Raiders play the Dolphins next week. I think if they had Derek Carr, that'd be a pretty solid. In my opinion, that'd be a pretty solid. I would favor the Raiders in that one. And then. I mean, they play the Broncos week 17, so that won't be too difficult. But they need to win next week to stay even remotely in the hunt. Because if they lose next week, then they're out of the playoff race.
I don't really know what the Raiders' problem is. Yeah, the Raiders, man, like I don't know what's really the Raiders' problem. Like I don't want to say it's their defense or something. It's just, but maybe it's just they haven't been ever since they lost. Ever since they lost, Dude. Who's the guy they traded to? Who's the guy they traded to the Bears? What's his name? Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since they lost him, the Raiders just haven't been like they should have never traded him, man. They should have never traded him. That was the
They
worst
really
mistake
should.
they ever made. Because they just never. It just feels like they're missing something, and I feel like that's who they're missing. Like
Part
that's
of why
it's
they
just
shouldn't
that.
have. Part of why they shouldn't have done that is because the Bears are wasting him.
Well, they didn't wait from that first year. That first year, Khalil Mack just took over that defense.
Well, no, Khalil Mack's done well, but he's playing for the Bears. Like, what a waste of talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both got that one wrong. The Chargers did end up winning that game, and honestly, that's about what I expected once Derek Carr went down. The Chargers aren't a horrible team. They've got a good quarterback. They just they have trouble actually pulling games together. But when you have when you have the Raiders imploding like that, yeah, the Chargers are going to take advantage of that. There's no question. I don't think either of us saw the Raiders imploding like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish the Browns should have beat them.
One,
I hope that loss don't come back and haunt us.
yeah, one other game that we both did not see coming was the Miami Dolphins beating the New England Patriots. And the way I saw this, the reason I thought the Dolphins were going to beat the Patriots is mainly because you got two teams that seem to be trending in opposite directions. You got the Patriots who are now eliminated from the playoffs, which is very weird to say. But you had the Patriots who were starting to kind of get things together, kind of on and off, and we're looking like they were really kind of like trying to make that playoff push. And it really kind of felt like because it's Bill Belichick and the Patriots that they were going to find a way to pull it off. But and then you had the Dolphins who were struggling against teams like the Bengals, who and then Tua Tagovailoa looking at best like a game manager, but not even like a Baker Mayfield game manager, like just like a regular ass game manager, like Derek Carr at his worst, or at his least impressive anyway.
He has currently for the season during his starts he has a 63% passing rating, 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I only know that because I got NFL Live in the background, and I just seen it, and they brought that right in front of me. So that was convenient. Thank you, ESPN. For that, I'm sorry, Four Letter Network. We do not do free advertisement on the show, besides unless it's beer in your name, Bud Light. But anyway, Tua's numbers don't look bad, but when you watch him play, you see what Kyle Mink. He does look like a glorified game manager who is benefiting from a really good defense and a really well coached team. Yeah. So it kind of goes back to our discussion at the beginning of the season. You remember that discussion we had at the beginning of the season, how all young quarterbacks come in different situations? How we have like some quarterbacks who are like kind of like upper class quarterbacks because they're brought into a great situation, so they succeed earlier or it looks like they're succeeding earlier because of the situation they're brought into. So we don't get a good read on them. So we talk about how Lamar Jackson went to a great franchise compared to Baker Mayfield going to a franchise he had to build up, or Sam Darnold, or even this year the best example will be Justin Herbert versus Tua. Now Justin Herbert is definitely a better quarterback than Tua this year. I'm not saying he's going to be a better quarterback in the future. It looks like it. But Tua has a chance to make a playoff because he went to a better team and a better ran organization at the moment. So when you consider those two factors, it always just it's situation versus talent. And Tua is in a great situation. Sometimes great situations can make a mediocre to bad quarterback look better than what he is.
Which is impressive, by the way, because Tua got taken with a higher pick. Usually that happens because the team that picked you had a worse year, and is in general in a worse situation. But I mean, Brian Flores has come in, has really kind of, gotten that Dolphins team looking somewhat respectable. I'd say I don't know if he's going to win like a Super Bowl in Miami or anything like that, but I definitely think he's got this Dolphins team to a level of competition that maybe he wasn't going to get them there right away in year one, and that's why they were able to get that pick that they used to take Tua. Um, but yeah, I did not think that Brian Flores was going to be able to outcoach Bill Belichick because I saw these two as two fairly evenly matched teams, with the Patriots more so on the rise and the Dolphins not so much. And then you also got Bill Belichick versus Brian Flores at coach, and I think Brian Flores outcoached him. So that's got to make Dolphins fans feel good after getting coached to hell and back by Bill Belichick over all these years.
Well, we're gonna see what happens because I don't think because they're getting next week, man. I don't think that the Raiders are pushovers with Marcus Mariota because I don't think Marcus Mariota, he's not a bad quarterback. I think he's a very Marcus Mariota can beat the Dolphins next week. Well, I don't know, but I don't think he's going to have a horrible game next week. So, watch out for the Dolphins. I'm sorry, watch out for the Raiders Dolphins. So, yeah, seriously, like it can get real. It can get real in the AFC real soon.
I don't know. I haven't seen enough out of the Raiders lately to really believe that, but we'll see how I feel on.
Hey, if this last week haven't touched you with anything, it touched you that anybody can lose to anybody at any moment. It's the NFL. Oh boy, it's about to get interesting.
This, so we got 3 more games to talk about as far as games that we that were incorrectly predicted. One that was absolutely. We were both completely wrong about it. I believe your exact phrasing was, "I don't see any possible way that this game is not going to end up the way that we think it's going to end up," and that is the New York Jets beating the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think anybody saw that coming because the Rams are good, and the Rams have been kind of doing pretty well lately.
Yeah,
and I know the Jets have been doing a little bit better now than they were at the beginning of the season, but it wasn't so good that you thought they were going to be able to take down to like a contender like the Rams.
Yeah, I thought that I kind of went back and forth in that game too because I was like, it's really hard in the NFL to go 0-16. It's really hard in the NFL to lose. You're a team that have a lot of pride. Only 2 teams in history went 0-16, the Browns and the Browns and the Lions. Correction.
Yeah.
And
we could keep it that way too, because going 0-16 seasons are not good for the NFL. Because part of what I love about the NFL is the fact that any team can win any Sunday. When you have an 0-16 team, that means that team did not stand an actual chance any of those games.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I can't. All right. I'm not terribly surprised. I mean, I'm surprised, but I'm not terribly surprised. I knew they was going to win eventually, right? They had to win eventually, right?
Well, they don't, but again, I'm surprised that it happened against the Rams.
Sure.
Now, okay, granted, I guess if it's going to happen against anybody, it's going to happen against a team where you've got a really lackluster quarterback who just doesn't bring a whole lot to the table beyond what the team's already kind of doing. So I guess the Rams would have been the kind of team that you'd see the Jets beating, but. And I guess out of the Jets' remaining schedule, you got the Browns and the Patriots. So I guess the team they match up the best out of those teams is the Rams. But at the same time, it's like, if the Jets couldn't beat they couldn't pull off the win against the Raiders like they almost did. If the Jets couldn't beat who else did they play this year? They played the Dolphins, they played the Chargers. Well, the Chargers. If the Jets couldn't beat the Chargers, they were on bye that week. The Patriots. Oh, they kind of had a bit of a tough schedule, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to my theory that the AFC is just that much better than the NFC.
Yeah.
Just so much better than the NFC. It's not even close, man. Yeah.
Maybe the Broncos. Yeah, really, I'm looking through these games, and it's like the only the only game that you could really say that the Jets probably were in a position that they were up against a not very good team was when they played the Chargers. And I mean, other than that, because like, I mean, you can maybe say the Broncos, but that was earlier in the year when the Broncos weren't quite as injured as they are now.
Sam Darnold did not look bad that game either.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like like I guess you got to, for what it's worth, you got to note the fact that the Jets have had a really, really awful schedule this year.
Yeah. I thought of the Browns that year. They went 0-16. The Browns had the hardest schedule in the NFL when they went 0-16. No, they had a hardest schedule in the NFL when they went 1-15, and they got a harder schedule next year. Like, go back and look at that 0-16 Browns schedule. Like, it was tough, man. They had some tough teams. I can't.
Well,
I mean,
it was 2017. You played the Bengals twice, so it couldn't have been that hard.
yeah, but I mean, like, we're the Browns. Y'all still had Andy Dalton and stuff. Y'all weren't.
Yeah, but that again, this wasn't the 2015 Bengals. This was 2017 Bengals. Things had already kind of started going off the rails by then.
Yeah, that's true. We should have won one of those games. 2017 Browns. Yeah, we had the Eagles week 1. The Ravens. Oh no, hold on. This is 2016 Browns. They were a little better. By one game. Because they beat the Chargers. All right. Yeah. I forgot that you got to do a whole year in event. Okay. 2018 Browns. They did go 4-0 in the preseason. It was that. So why is Google skipping the year that I need? I put the 2017 Browns. I got the 2016 Browns. I put 2018 Browns. I got 2018 Browns. Give me 2017 Browns. Give me the 2017 Browns. I'm over it. I'm over it. I don't care anymore.
Getting back to what we're supposed to be talking about here, the Rams and Jets. The thing that kind of really boggles my mind is the Jets really, for the most part, didn't play that well. Like, I mean, Sam Darnold did okay. He threw for 207 yards and a touchdown. He didn't make mistakes, though, I guess, which is big, especially against that Rams defense. But at the same time, like, I mean, everybody talks about the big story of the game was, Frank Gore looking like Frank Gore again. And at the end of the day, he only had 59 yards rushing. I mean, I know he powered in for that 4th and goal touchdown, which was huge. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I do not see, when I'm looking at this game, I'm not seeing a Jets team that won. I'm seeing a Rams team that lost, quite frankly. Like, I mean, it was obviously the Jets did what they needed to do to get the win, but I think this was more an issue of the Rams just not playing up to where they needed to be.
Yeah,
and a lot more mistakes happening on the Rams side because I mean, you've got a blocked punt, you've got the very next drive after that, you've got an interception thrown by Jared Goff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like not a whole lot happened in this game, but most of what did happen was negative against the Rams. This was just, it seems like this was just the Rams kind of not showing up.
Yeah, the Rams just look like they didn't. It kind of goes back to what I said about Kevin Stefanski about not taking any game for granted. The Rams didn't look like they took this game seriously at all. They're like, oh, they're the Jets. And you can't. One thing about the NFL. One thing if you're an NFL player, coach, team, you cannot listen to the outside noise. You got to listen to what you see on tape. You got to read what you see on tape. Because the reality is, the Jets, they're still an NFL franchise. If you can't go into a game thinking it's an automatic win, you can't do that in sports. You can never do that in sports. You can't just go like, oh, they suck, so I'm going to beat them anyway. There's talent everywhere, especially when you're talking to NFL. And no games are given. And the Rams are sleeping on the Jets. And that's what happens when you sleep on a team in the NFL. You cannot sleep on any team in the NFL. You cannot listen to memes. You cannot listen to social media. You cannot listen to what the experts say and jokes that people say. You gotta take every single team seriously, man. You have to. You just have to. You gotta stay that's mental toughness. Mental toughness is respecting your opponent. If you do not respect your opponent, if you don't respect every single one of your opponents, one of them is going to burn you. And that's sports. That's sports. That's why they say cockiness is, that's what they say about cockiness, man.
Yep.
So that's what the Rams get. They're probably not going to win the Super Bowl either.
Well, probably not, but I will say though the Rams are a Super Bowl contender, which is that's part of what boggles my mind about this is they really shouldn't have lost this game. The fact that they did is a huge indictment on the Rams because they had no business losing that game, but they did, and if they play like that in the playoffs, it's going to be a rough year for them. But I don't know. Maybe they needed a game like this to get their heads on right. I don't know.
And the Browns got a better record than the Rams.
All right, so we got two
Browns
more.
Got a better record than the Rams. The Browns got a better record than the Rams, and we lose one of our next 2 games, we can miss playoffs. Oh, the NFC sucks.
We got 2 more games left to talk about, and both of these games are games that one of us got wrong and the other one got right. So let's start with the probably less interesting of the two, where you got the Chiefs and the Saints. Now, I was pretty surprised when I heard that you were not picking the Chiefs in this game because, I mean, I know Drew Brees was back, but I mean, he was just back. And, the Chiefs have just been nearly unstoppable lately. So, you want to walk me through what you were thinking on this one?
I mean, the Saints only lost by a field goal.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes still threw for 3 touchdowns, and Le'Veon Bell got a touchdown on the ground. Like, I mean, you're not going to stop this Chiefs offense, even if
That's true, but I mean, there's times where Patrick Mahomes get throw happy and he just start overthrowing people because he's so freaking arrogant. I mean, there's times where Patrick Mahomes' ego gets the best of him as well. I just thought the Saints, they're playing at home, and the Superdome isn't what the Superdome is. I just thought that there might be the Chiefs might slip up here or there. I thought this game might be the game that might slip up, but they did. And the Saints played them well. The Saints played them close though. Like you go back and watch that game. That game wasn't a blowout. Like the Saints were right in that game. 1 or 2 plays here and there, they would have won it.
Like,
oh yeah, the Saints are a great team.
It was kind of shocking. Well, it wasn't that shocking because I predicted it, but I was kind of shocked that I was right.
Well, I think the Saints.
I think to be the Saints.
I think the Saints are. I think the Saints are one of. I think the Saints are like one of like probably like 3 teams that could probably beat the Chiefs realistically. Like I honestly think that if Drew Brees getting rhythm, they meet in the Super Bowl. I think they could beat. I think they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, but I think they could. I think the Saints definitely. I think the Saints. When you look at the Saints roster, the Saints got talent on that roster, man. They got a lot of talent on that roster.
Well, they do, and potentially this game ends up going a little differently if because Cam Jordan got ejected for throwing a punch, which by the way looked to me like a football play. Like I mean, maybe you throw a penalty, but to eject him for that, I don't know.
I don't think it was just a crazy. It wasn't. I don't think it was a crazy prediction when your team lose by 3. And I just thought.
No, I thought it wasn't crazy. And
I just thought.
The Saints, like I said, like if it weren't for that ejection right before the Chiefs scored a touchdown, maybe the Chiefs don't score that touchdown, and then the game's a different score. So, but then again, I mean, it probably is. But
well, my thinking in the process of picking the Saints were the Saints are a really good regular season team. They are. Now, when the postseason things are different. Excuse me. I actually don't think the Saints are going to come out of the NFC. Honestly, if you ask me today, I probably say the Packers actually over the Saints. I think the Packers have a better chance than the Saints do. But Saints is always choke. But like that Saint, I just thought that because I remember watching that Dolphins Chiefs game last week, first half. I was like, oh, this team's beatable. It's just that they just I don't know. Because the Dolphins played the Chiefs well that first half, and then the Dolphins just collapsed. And I was like, well, the Saints is a team that can put it together. Maybe they might be able to see some things the Dolphins seen. They might be able to pull out a win. But
Right.
man, that Chiefs, man, we might be in the midst of a dynasty.
Oh, we're definitely in the midst of a dynasty.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because the AFC North is the AFC North, but it's the Chiefs.
I don't know. I think
like,
personally, I think dynasties are good for the NFL because you got to have somebody to shoot for,
Yeah, we about to have.
As long
Dude,
as it's
I
not-
got a feeling we about to witness.
As long as that dynasty isn't the Steelers.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, man, he's about to be the Michael Jordan of the NFL. Like that dude, man, he's so good. He is so good. I mean, but like even Michael Jordan lost a game or two, but like I just thought I don't know. I'm not knocking the Chiefs at all. I just thought they might get let their guard down just for a little bit, but no, they didn't. They didn't because they're so freaking good. They're so freaking good. They're gonna probably win the Super Bowl this year and next year and the year after that, for that matter. That team's gonna be good for a long time. That team's gonna be really good for a long time.
So we got.
Oh man, it sucks.
We got one game left to talk about, and I am thrilled to talk about this game. And I will admit, I was wrong. But I have never been happier to be wrong about a prediction in my life. Because my Cincinnati Bengals took down the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football. And boy, is it sweet. Man, this has been a rough year, but that was a good game. That was a super exciting game. If you haven't seen it yet, me and Thomas react to like the last 5 minutes or so of the game.
Yeah.
We did it on Instagram Live, and we uploaded the video to YouTube, so go check that out. It is definitely worthwhile content.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, the Bengals played. Okay, so I just want to say, first of all, for most of this season, my thought process was the Bengals are going to lose their first game against the Steelers and win the second game against the Steelers. Now, I switched my prediction both times because I ended up picking a win last time and a loss this time. But at the beginning of the year, I was saying the opposite. And my thought process was the Bengals were going to, like with Joe Burrow, they were going to need some time to like learn about the Steelers, and they weren't going to be quite ready for them the first time. And then after, experiencing them, they were going to be ready the second time. Well, that didn't quite happen because Joe Burrow went out, and and then we had Ryan Finley starting at quarterback, and I was like, oh God, here we go. Ryan Finley starting at quarterback. We have no chance. And but that was pretty much under the assumption that the Bengals were going to play like they have all year, which was, it's the same game script, game after game after game. It's, the Bengals get off to somewhat of a strong first half, or at least first quarter or something like that. Look like a team that, ought to be taken seriously this year. And then, somewhere around like the very end of the second quarter, they let the other team get points right before the half ends. And then in the third quarter, it just completely flips on its head, and the Bengals completely screw themselves through the whole thing and are never really able to kind of flip things back in their favor. That sort of happened this week, but they did finally manage to flip things back in their favor, which is really nice to see because, especially without Joe Burrow at quarterback, that means Zach Taylor finally has figured out how to make these adjustments to actually, come up with these wins. And that is one of the biggest things that he absolutely needs to learn to teach this team to do as a coach. Because my biggest criticism against Zach Taylor throughout his whole career is this team just doesn't seem to have the ability to handle adversity. But boy, did they handle adversity this week. And I will give credit to Thomas, all the credit I can possibly give him, because he did pick this game. Now, as I've said before, I think he picked this game because he really wanted to see the Bengals win this game. But either way, he did pick it, and you can't deny that.
Well, what I said was, if you go back and watch the full video, not the video we posted, we go watch the full video. I said that, even the video I posted, I said, well, it's a divisional game. It's a Monday night game. Strange things happen in a football game that night, and also it's a home game and it's a rival game, free game. Those are all things that means that the game's going to be close because teams know each other. But also, like the one thing that got me about the game that impressed me the most about the Bengals was the fact that that the defense for the Bengals, man, they played with so much heart, so much desire. They played so inspirational. They got into the face, and that energy, you felt that energy come through the TV screen. Man, man, that was just so much fun to watch. That was so much fun to watch. The Bengals, they're a growing team, and I'm really excited about what the Bengals are going to be in the upcoming years. You put your franchise quarterback in this team with that attitude. If they play like that. In fact, I want to say this: the Bengals have a lot of young players. They grew up yesterday. A lot of them grew up yesterday. That's a stepping stone. That game could be a stepping stone for the future for the Bengals. Go ahead, get Penny Sewell, get Penny for your thoughts, or trade down, whatever. Kyle believes is trading down, but I'm really excited about the Bengals moving forward, man. I'm really excited. I'm not a Bengals fan, but I'm really excited about this team's future. And maybe Zach Taylor probably just saved his job. I mean, you said that he wasn't going to get fired anyway, but I think he probably saves his job in the eye of the fans. He probably kept the fans from coming up there with pitchforks and run him out of town. He probably gained a little bit of credibility, but also he probably gained a little bit more credibility in the locker room. Like, you're never going to hear a team say that that a coach lost the locker room, but you would see it physically, but you won't. But nobody will ever say it. But I think it goes. I think that it goes to say that he won the locker room over, and he won that locker room over yesterday, and he had to post the locker room. Those players played for Zach Taylor, and that was just an inspirational game they played. So I gotta give all the credit to the Bengals, man. Steelers, man, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all gotta fix something. Y'all need Jesus. The Steelers need Jesus.
I know exactly what's wrong with the Steelers. It's that, like, it's like you said, Ben looks old.
Yeah, he does.
They have no run game. They essentially have no offense when Ben Roethlisberger can't play like
their run game is non-existent.
It's the same thing that we had last year. Just instead, we don't have Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges playing quarterback. But other than that, it's the same thing as last year. And so when the defense doesn't put up like multiple turnovers and stuff like that, the Steelers have no chance because they can't do anything on offense. And that's what the problem is. And it's been the problem all year. Now they've been playing against a bunch of bad competition, so a lot of those faults get hidden. But the thing is, when you go up against the Bengals, you got to realize that you're not playing a typical like 2-win team. You're playing a team that really had the potential to be by this point like like an 8 or 9 win team already in this at this point in the season. And just because of certain situations and inability to close out games, et cetera, they lost all those games, and they only came into this game with 2 wins and a tie.
Yeah.
But this is a Bengals team that has talent. This is a Bengals team that has taken plenty of teams that maybe a lot of people didn't expect them to take down to the wire, and playing really well against. Like I said before, the only teams that we got blown out by this year are the Steelers and the Ravens. And other than that, it's been, mostly games that, we probably should have won. So yeah, it's just like I think the Steelers looked a little past the Bengals when they really shouldn't have, and on top of that, they got all these issues that they have. And on top of that, Juju Smith-Schuster gave us bulletin board material before the game and then continued to harp on that bulletin board material by continuing that stupid-ass 50-yard line logo dance that he does and pissing Von Bell right the hell off.
Yeah, so like a little TikTok girl.
Right. And then like best case scenario, you get some cool TikToks out of that. But like worst case scenario, you get like a game like you got against the Bengals, where you end up just pissing the Bengals off to the point that when they do make a big play against you, it energizes the hell out of them. And it's not so much that like I don't know, I don't so much believe in like, the whole one team wants it more than the other, because it's the NFL. Everybody wants it like as much as that wants every single game as much as they could possibly want anything. I don't think anything like that happens. But I do think that, certain things that happen in games either energize or demoralize teams. And when you have something, it's like when, Johnny Manziel was playing for the Browns and he was doing that money sign. He had that cocky attitude and everything.
Yeah.
And the Bengals put a couple of big hits on him and they got so excited about it because they're like, we're showing this dumbass kid how it really is. And they started doing the money sign, and Domata Pecco did like the belly rub. And they're like stuff like that energizes football teams, and it wouldn't exist if a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster wasn't doing the stupid crap at the beginning of the games in the first place. He wouldn't have given them the opportunity to be energized if he had just let it go. Yeah. But he's antagonizing. He's poking the bear for no reason. That's what he's doing.
No,
for a little bit of TikTok.
I agree. No, I agree. The thing is with Steelers is that they always like had this like cocky like asshole attitude in the division. That's why go back to last year, the Myles Garrett thing, man. Like when they just feel like they can just do whatever the heck they want, and like the rest of the AFC North was like, man, no, we ain't playing that no more, man. We ain't having that no more. Y'all can't come in here and then y'all can't do these cheap shots. Y'all can't do these cheap hits. Y'all can't disrespect us and think I'll get away with it. We're not going to have that no more. It goes back to last year with the whole Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph thing, man. You're not going to sit up here and disrespect me and lie about it, call me crazy about it, and then you're going to get away with it. We ain't going to play that, man. It's just like, people just done with the BS the Steelers been put out there the last couple of years, and the rest of the AFC North is catching up to them. They're the only team in the division without a Heisman quarterback. So their quarterback's aging. Their quarterback, we talk about quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson throwing ability. Like I make fun of Lamar Jackson throwing ability, but I'm talking about that from a pure passing, like something that he can't. It's not his ability, that it's his accuracy and his not his accuracy, his ability to be a pitcher, not a thrower. But that's something that Lamar Jackson could learn. Ben Roethlisberger, you're just old and you don't have the arm strength or the ability to throw the ball like the other three quarterbacks in the AFC North can. And that's going to catch up to you, and you're just going to get worse year to year. He's probably retired this year because next year you're really going to get exposed. It is what it is. Suck it, Steelers. Y'all suck. Pittsburgh, you suck. The whole city sucks. West Pennsylvania suck.
The Steelers still suck.
Kennywood sucks.
Kennywood.
They got two good roller coasters. It's all right. Yeah, they're good people. Go Browns. Pittsburgh still sucks. Oh, it feels so good to say that this week.
I have less of a problem with Steelers fans in Pittsburgh than I have with Steelers fans in Ohio. You know who you are.
Steelers fans in Ohio are the worst fans in America. We already talked about this. Especially the ones who grew up in Ohio. Y'all are the worst because y'all just Steelers fans to be trolls. But you know what? F it. Hey, if you're watching this podcast and you're friends with somebody who's a Steelers fan from Ohio, you should troll them for the next lifetime.
Yeah. Games like this never go away. They just don't, because it's just kind of like how that 2018 season for the Steelers, that's never going to go away. We're always going to remember how trashy that team looked when, you had Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell and Ben Roethlisberger and et cetera, et cetera. All these players who just looked like trashy drama queens playing on I don't even know any names of soap operas. What was that? Like All My Children. That's the name of a soap opera, right? But All My Steelers or some shit. And embarrassing things like that just don't go away. This is, even though the Bengals are terrible this year, this win is always going to be around, and it's going to be because the Steelers just it's because the Steelers get so cocky and full of themselves that they don't take things seriously, and they constantly get. It's a shame that they're such a well-run organization because they end up with they end up like being competitive nearly every year, and because of that, you're going to end up winning some Super Bowls because of that. But they really, as an organization, should have won way more Super Bowls than they have, and they don't because they just let everybody. They're like, oh well,
Let people do whatever they want.
Whatever you want, right?
Yeah,
And there's just like they talk about the Steeler way, but they never actually back it up when it comes time to back it up.
It goes back to that game. It goes back. I said this earlier. That there's a report that that Ben Roethlisberger is changing plays from the offensive coordinator. He's been doing that for a while. He's doing it now, and they're not going to say it's a problem, but I think it's a problem. And I think that it was apparent on the play, and we talked. We was on the phone. Unfortunately, we wasn't live streaming. We was on the phone when this happened. One of the Steelers player or Ben Roethlisberger threw a ball because he changed the play, and it was a different play from. No. There was too many men on the field. Ben Roethlisberger. Oh no, it was a legal formation. That's what it was. It was a legal formation, or it was an ineligible man downfield. Ben Roethlisberger changed the play on the spot. And I was saying, like, hey, look, this is the problem. I remember I said that I was talking to some friends. It's like, hey, look, Ben Roethlisberger is changing the plays from offensive coordinator. You can't have a quarterback calling the plays, and you have offensive coordinator for a reason. Now, audibles, yeah, like people are like, oh, well, don't all quarterbacks do audibles? Yeah, all the quarterbacks do audibles, but like, there's a difference between doing audible and changing crucial plays when you need them. And Ben Roethlisberger is changing plays, and it cost them a first down. Like, it cost them a drive because he's changing a play, and next thing you know, you're backed up 10 yards because you have an eligible receiver, and Ben Roethlisberger's not thinking that way. You shouldn't be thinking that way. You have a offensive coordinator for a reason. An audible is not for you to just make your own play calls. You can play whatever play call you want. Audible is there, so in case you see something in defense that the offensive coordinator don't see, so you change it. Not so you could be Mr. Coach and Mr. Quarterback at the same time. But go ahead, do you, Ben Roethlisberger. Keep on, see what happens. In 2 years, you're gonna be out of the league anyway, so I don't care.
I look forward to that day. Very much look forward to that day. But
I like seeing him struggle.
That's pretty much all we got for predictions this week, though. Like I said, the final record on the year, the total record on the year so far, Thomas got 76 wins. I got 63 wins. We both went 11-5 this week. So for the first time, I didn't lose, which is nice. But we'll look forward to next year when hopefully I have a bit better of a showing.
I got a tie, y'all.
Yeah, I got a tie. I didn't go 0-16 like the Browns.
Man, if the Saints just pulled that one out for me, I would have beat you, man. Come on, Saints. Y'all could have pulled that out for me. Y'all could have done it for me. They could have done it for me.
Also, you could have won if you just not corrected me.
Yeah, I wasn't going to. I'm honest, dude. I wasn't going to not correct you.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We got predictions twice a week. We make our predictions, and then we talk about them later. And it's kind of this whole thing's kind of taken on its own life. So I don't know, but if you want to be on the podcast, we'll have you on for predictions too. Just hit me or Thomas up at any time. And thanks for listening. And we'll see you on the next episode.
See you next time.